Hi.
Hi.
What would you like to discuss today?
Well, something that we've been discussing in therapy, and I want to think about it more about what it means in relation to me and stuff, and how I can help myself make sense of how I respond to stuff, is about the mirroring, how we become what we see around us.
Right, okay.
So I wonder if you
So,
could explain that a bit to me.
right. Well, what I want to explain as well, if for anybody that thinks this is therapy, it's not.
Mm,
This is just the afterthought of
mm,
therapy. So the afterthought of therapy is, as we're talking about, um, no frills kind of stuff.
yeah.
So it's that. It's just us having a talk and
Mm,
understanding. Um, so when we're born, you're born onto a planet of aliens, and to find out what your identity is, um, our brain is open, so it's in a theta state. So it's like a dreamy state in the
mm,
for the child, and then people think that the child doesn't remember anything, or they'll forget when they're older. Well, actually, they don't remember everything because the brain's a recording machine. So it starts to record. From what I've been told, I don't know if it's true, but from the last trimester of um, the last trimester before you're born. And so the baby then begins to record everything. And so it can learn about its environment because its brain set open
mm,
to learn. So the brain isn't set open to give anything out. So people say, oh, look, they know the spot. No, no, they don't. No, they don't. They have no thoughts like that. They're their thoughts being projected onto the child. And that's what the child learns. It learns everything what the aliens around it are saying.
mm,
It has to learn a language. There's no teacher to teach it the language. It has to pick up everything. So that's what we do. We begin to mirror and copy. So oh, look, you're just like your father, or you're just like your mother. Well, yeah, of course they are, because they're mirroring you,
mm,
because they have to practice how to be on this planet of
mm.
aliens,
Because
or
they don't know all else.
they don't
Yeah.
know anything else. So ultimately, they're a blank slate, and you're filling it.
Mm,
And so what you're filling it with is everything that you do, it gets filled.
mm,
But so the child then has a position of how to survive. How do I survive the aliens? And if I be like this, if I be like my mother over here, or if I be like my father over here, and then we start to take those traits out. So everything that we believe then from growing up from our parents and going to school becomes a reflection of us finding an identity, which is usually a fake identity about ourselves. And so the fake things is that you believe that you're not good enough. So why do I get not good enough, as I've explained before? Um, Nobody's interested in the child and its humanness. Nobody's learnt about themselves. Well, as far as I know, many have, but I don't know anyone. It's learnt about themselves, and somebody said, "I'm going to tell you what you are as a human being."
mm,
And so, I'm not going to tell you what you are as a human being. I'm going to show you what you need to do as while you're on this planet. So we haven't got time for your humanness. So your humanness means, you're a being, you're a spiritual being. We're made up of all elements, so we're made up of, electricity and space and all of these kind of things. We're only interested in the matter. So the matter is this.
mm,
We're not interested in you, the whole of you. We're just interested in this machine and what it can do. And what we're going to do is we're going to tell it to work.
mm,
And so that's what you do. So you do the things that you're told to do from a young age, such as go to school, learn to work, and you try to learn to be good enough, and all these kind of things. And then you just end up on this treadmill, and you spend your life then mirroring all the things that you were taught when you were young. And then, so what does the mirroring mean? Well, the mirroring means that in your environment, when you mirrored somebody, you took it in, and so the mirror works in this way, where you take it in and then you project it out, and you take it in and you project it out. So when you become an adult, then how does it work? Well, all the beliefs that I have now about the world that I've experienced and what I've been programmed with is then I'll project it out. So if I have a bad experience, while I'm here, majority of people do, then what will I project out? So let me give you an example. If I give you, if say I experienced that all dogs are vicious, so if I experience that the dogs are vicious from a vicious experience of dogs, then my survival mechanism would be held, and I would project that out onto all dogs. I'm scared of them because they're all dangerous. Do you see what I mean? So that's what we do. So we do that for many things, good, bad, or indifferent. We're projecting it out. And so then our subconscious then will look at all vicious dogs. It will look for them to try and keep you safe. So then we project that out into the world, and then we're in a tiny little box of our belief. And we have a lot of these little boxes of our beliefs. So it used to be, men are superior to females, or females can't do that. And you're in that little box of belief that until somebody breaks the box and says, well, actually, we can. Or do you see what I mean? And so that becomes, we're in these mirrorings of whatever we've taken in our beliefs. We start to then project them onto the world, and we only see them coming back in the mirror. So it's like we have filters, and our filters are based on what goes out, what we took in goes out of the filter, and only what we see can we let in the filter. Well, we'll only see the things that we've put out there, only the things in our beliefs. So say when people are in the little box, is this
Yeah.
okay? So then when people are in a little box, you can tell them something new, and quite often they'll go, I don't believe that, because they can't see it, and they don't want to see it, they don't want to. And so when you see something new, you'll open up another filter and go, actually it's not like that. Or you'll see something else and you go, actually it's not like that. Well, there are many times it's not like that, but it's only when you're ready to open another filter that you will see something something different. So it's only then. So that's why the mirror is a continuum. We learn to mirror people growing up, and we're constantly mirroring that mirror that we grew up with. And then the mirror then shines out. So if you want to change, you can't change. We're working the wrong way then, because we learned that we took this in and say, like, there's something happening. If only they'd stop doing that, I'd be okay. It's like, no, if you stop thinking that, you'll be okay. Then when you change the thought, the mirror then has to change again, because it's all matching your thoughts as you matched everybody else's thought. So that's how it works. So it's like this mirror that comes in, you're looking at everybody, you're mirroring, copying, so say like somebody's tapping, I'm going to mirror that. Yeah, so, or my parents drink, I'm going to mirror that, or they argue that way, so I'm going to mirror that. And then when you meet somebody there, there'll be somebody else doing something similar as well that you meet to match your mirror. And that's why, birds of a feather will flock together, will flock with each other. So if you've grown up in abuse, you're more likely to be with somebody that equally has grown up in some sort form of abuse. So you can act out and keep mirroring that. And then that's what we called unfinished business, that you're not letting go of that mirror. You're still doing it. You're still doing it now. Was that
It does make sense, and I'm trying to think of how I can relate it to an example within me. And one that I'm thinking of, and see if it matches, and I've got it right. Since being abused as a child and being brought up in a family environment where, if you didn't do right, you got a smack or you got told off and that kind of thing.
What did that mean, didn't do right? What was right?
Didn't do what the adults wanted you to do. Sort of had
your
own mind. Yeah. And when I look back, it was just like normal child things that you don't want to stick to boundaries. You want to do your own thing, or you might have a difference of opinion and things like that. So they're just not complying or not being
the human doing. You want to be a being.
Not doing the childhood things and stuff like that. Finding your feet and what is acceptable and what isn't acceptable to those around you. And I learned that, or I took, using that, what you've just said, I took in that people were quite scary and quite dangerous. They could shout at you, they could give you a smack, they could say they didn't like you, they could
not a very nice place to visit, is it?
yeah, no,
Yeah,
and they
there.
could say that, you know, you're lucky that we put up with you. And also I had the sexual abuse that was happening outside the home as well, so not just in the home, outside people who I thought were nice hurt me as well, or did things that I didn't like. And so I sort of took on that I didn't like people, I didn't want people, I didn't need people. That was my mantra from a very young age that I used to say to myself and other people if they were listening. But it never got questioned why. It was just, she'd rather be on her own than mixing with people and that kind of thing. As an adult, I find it very difficult to trust people who are nice or to take in help. And I'm wondering if that's like a mirror that's come in and I'm projecting out. It's like my mum's not well. Accepting help to help me look after her, I've found really difficult. I've wanted to push people away because I'm frightened about what they might want, or that they'll turn out nasty, or that they'll want something from me. Is that the similar kind of thing that you're talking about?
Yeah, because what you're doing is, you know, when your filters are, you open your filters, so your filters are open for danger.
Yeah.
And you're aware of that. So you've got now a mechanism which you developed where you said, I don't want to be around people. So because you don't want to be around people, you use that as safety. So the people are there and I spot you, so I'll go. Do you see what I mean? When somebody offers help, then, you know, we want to help you. That's not that's not usual. So you don't have that usual. So you feel uncomfortable with that.
And suspicious.
Yeah. And so then you've opened a suspicious filter that, you know, well, ultimately you would have had that filter anyway, because the people that you couldn't trust that harmed you, you knew that you've grown suspicious. So what your projection is then is you're projecting that onto those people. Rather than saying they're just here to help me, they don't want to hurt me, or they don't want anything from me. It's like, yes, they do. Because now my projection onto them is that you are still a perpetrator.
Yeah.
So I'm suspicious of you.
Because
you're just trying to.
Even when I was little, yes, there was shouting and there was a smack, but you know, you're annoying, we can't, you know, you're lucky we'll put up with you. But there was also, but you loved, we love you. So it was very confusing.
Yeah.
And so now as an adult, when people are saying, oh, I'm here to help without an agenda, it's like, no, there's something wrong with you. You're going to want something. And it's like, I'll push you away. Even though I need help, I'll push it away and think that to rely on myself.
Yeah, because that's the belief that you've based and a belief about yourself. And also, so you won't let go of the mirror. And that's what, so when you realizing now that mirror no longer really exists, what you still hold, so you're still holding the mirror up to yourself, really looking in the mirror and projecting out something. And when you look in the mirror, you project it out, you're going to get the validation back. Do you see what I mean? But when you don't get the validation back, you feel suspicious. So then you want to orchestrate it to then get it back as you see it. So it's that where, you know, when I spoke about in the last video, when I'd said that about the guy that pulled his pants down and then we're touching somebody's face. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
So what that means is that we don't look through our eyes, we look through our thoughts. So when people say, I believe what I see, it's like, no, you believe what you think that you see. And that's what you believe. You believe what you think you see because you've already put an overlay over something. So what that means is that people might be genuinely want to help you, but you've put an overlay and saying, no, I'm going to project my overlay onto you. You don't want to help me because you're going to do something to me.
It's like that confirmation bias then, isn't it?
Yeah. So
you only see what
you want to see, not what, you know, you see what you want to see from a place to keep you safe, from the place that you already know. So because this was when you were young, you experienced something in your life and you'd normalized it. So when you're coming now, it's like, well, this is abnormal to me. This isn't, people aren't like that. I can't believe there are people in the world like that. They're like this. And so that's what your overlay is. So when people say, I believe what I see, it's like, no, you believe what somebody told you to believe when you were growing up, or what you experienced. So that's why when, for instance, say like, let's give an example that you use is COVID, is that when you're programmed with fear, sorry, my throat's trying to, when you're programmed with fear, what can happen then is that must, should, have to, got to, and fear, then that becomes a programming that you're going to use for the rest of your life. Do you see what I mean? So when you believe in that programming, then for the rest of your life, you're beholden to other people that want you to believe that. So, like you said on one of the earlier videos, is that the biggest relationship that we have is with the NHS from birth to death, is because of a program that we've been told that that's the only place to get well. And so then what comes out of there? Well, when you look at a form of manipulation, what comes out of there is a lot of fear that gets put into us. So what do they start doing? They start selling you illness. You start hearing illness on advertisements, which makes it, oh, well, you can just have this tablet, it'll make you feel better. So now illness is big business. So our illness is big business. So then you're going to get maybe, then aging, you're going to be told, oh, you need to do this because of your aging, you need to do that because of your aging. And we have an overlay because we don't question, because we have this filter, whether that's true or not. And if you have fear, you're more likely to stay in that little box. You're more likely to then not look outside the box and say, is there something else I can do other than what's being offered to me here? No, because this is in my face and this is in my little box. Do you see what I mean? So people then you can be controlled by your filters. And we're controlled with many filters in our environment, especially fear. If you look at the majority, like I said before, programs that are played to us, about 90% is going to be normalizing death. I think there was something put on and it was disgusting, normalizing babies falling out of a window being killed. And so when, for a little child then that might be watching one of these things, they're going to normalize that. That's normal. And then the more that we're programmed with these evil things, we're going to normalize it, and then it just becomes normal to us. Do you see what I mean? Killing is just normal to us. And so that's why in our filters and the things that we do, we have these nasty thoughts popping up in our head. The nasty thoughts become normal to us, even though we don't like them.
And I think that's what's happening with the abuse of children. That is becoming normal.
Yes.
We're no longer horrified by the statistics. We just have accepted them.
Yes.
That's just a part of life, isn't it? That's
you just
a
go
part
back
of our society. We're not horrified.
You go back to your filter, that it's normalized everything, and then it's literal. Like you say, you're not astounded or horrified by it. We become more and more. Somebody had said the most people that won't look outside of the box are the most dangerous, because they're more likely to continue hurting themselves and others. And that's when I say that if you don't love yourself, if you don't truly love yourself, you can only love somebody else to the same degree. Well, how do we love each other? It's usually on a condition. I will love you on condition you do what I want you to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't, I won't love you anymore. So when I say I love you, I want you to say, it's an IOU. And that's what you learn at school. IOU, AE, IOU, IOU. And we learn all these programs, but we don't look into them. Like I said before, our language, what we've been taught is, do you understand what I'm saying? And if you agree, that means you stand under me, because literally that's what it's saying.
Yeah.
It's not, do you comprehend what I'm saying?
And that's very much how my environment when I was growing up it was conditional positive regard. It was like, if you behave like this, we love you, you're accepted. And so that, and if you're not behaving like this, then you get a smack, and we reject you and say you should be lucky that you're still here. And that is something that I've mirrored and sort of like held within me throughout my life, at school, and compliance, like you say, with the health service. When I first became ill and had a breakdown and with depression, not once did I think to question or even ask or check out with what treatment that I was offered. It was just, you just go along with it, because that's what I'd learned. You just go along with what other people who are better than you say. And I thought everybody was better than me.
Yeah, they're not. And the other question is that's your body. It always was your body, and it always will be your body. So what you're doing is then you hand this machine over to what somebody else tells you, when they start to tell you how you feel. Do you see what I mean? So starting to tell you how you feel is like, if you say, oh, that hurts, it doesn't hurt that bad.
Yeah.
And then they start to tell you how you feel. They start to tell you what your body does. And so your humanness is taken away, because you're in such a little box, and you're so busy trying to find good enough and all these things that you were taught to go and find, and taught that it's the real world, and it's not, it's the made up one. So and you can see that it's made up because somebody had to make it up. It's that question: why are we all living like this? How come we're controlled like this? How come? Do you see what I mean? Why do we put collars around animals' necks? Why do we do that? Because we normalise cruelty, and then we have stories about it. Do you see what I mean? So it's that we don't question. If this is my body, why am I never interested in it enough to find out for myself? Why is it somebody else is telling me how my body works? Yeah, but I'm not going to do it for myself. And if you look then, why are we getting sicker and sicker if you say that people that are better than you know better than you and can treat you better? Do you see what I mean? They can tell you about you. Then why is it generation after generation we're getting sicker and sicker? It's questioning that. Why is that? It's just a wondering, just a questioning. And why are you interested in me?
And now then I do question it. I can see exactly what you were saying. When I was initially, for the first 10 years when I was being treated by the mental health system, I got worse and developed more illnesses and got more additional labels attached to me the longer I was in it.
Exactly, because that's what, you're a being, you're a human being, you're not a bunch of labels. But if to be a bunch of labels means you have to be a human doing, because you have to do what is it that you do? I do that, now I'll give you that label. So what are you going to do about it? You kind of, some people need it as a part of validation. They might never been validated when they grow up. So now, years ago, depression wasn't believed that you've got depression because it's inside and I can't see it. So it's like that. But some people, they needed that just to be validated, just to be recognized as a human being suffering. And so that wasn't even recognized. Then it was like, then what are you going to do? Well, we'll give you a pill for it. Is it going to make you well? No, it's not. It's not going to make you well. Do you see what I mean? There's going to be a side effect. Now we can give you another pill, and there's going to be a side effect. And I'm not saying that, for some medication doesn't help them. But ultimately, it's for you not to be interested in yourself, because if somebody says, I've solved the problem, don't bother going and finding out for yourself. And we don't. We're just not. We've been brought up to not be interested in ourselves, to not be interested in our humanness. We're brought up to start to chase whether we're good enough or not. And that's why everybody wants to aggrandize it. Look at me, I've got this qualification. Oh, I've just been promoted. All of those things to just for you to feel good enough about yourself, to feel I'm getting somewhere in life. Look at me, I'm going somewhere. I'm getting to. Oh, she's done really well for herself. It's like, no, you've done really well for someone else, not for yourself. Because when you get to that level, you're just going to start getting so used to it. It'll be like, oh, I need more now. I need more because it's not doing. It's not. When you get something what you want, I need more now because it's not hitting the spot anymore. And it's like that.
And I think one of the hardest questions you ever asked me in therapy is, what do I want? Who do I want to be? What do I want? And surely I'm not the only one who has never even thought about that in the whole life. I've got to 50 and it was like, I've never thought of that question before, and I haven't got the answer because I don't know, because I've never given it any thought.
Yeah, because you're too busy pleasing what other people wanted. That's what your business was when you were born. You're too busy pleasing, everything was given to you, your name, your clothes, your room, the people you hung around with, your language, everything was given to you. But did anybody say, what is it that you'd like to do in your life today? It's like, no, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. Well, who am I doing it for? The question, who am I doing it for? I'm doing it to please everybody else. I'm doing it to please strangers. I'm doing it because somebody told me that that's what I have to do. But why do I have to do it? And who am I doing this for? And where's it going to get me? We're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're all just on a ball. And I believe it's a ball. Well, the sun looks like a ball. We're on that. Yeah, we're just on a planet. Where are we going? Where we go? Do you like what? We're not going anywhere. Who are we doing this for? And then so the question is, when you look in the mirror now and you say, who am I? And you ask that question, or why am I still having these filters and using them from my past when I know that the filters that somebody else showed me from what they believe, but are they true? Is what you're told true? Do you investigate that for yourself? Or do I just believe and stay in little boxes because somebody else taught me to stay in a box similar to theirs, and somebody else taught them to stay in a box similar to theirs? And then we think we're evolving when we change something. Are we evolving? Really? So then ask that question. Who am I and what am I doing on this planet? The question I wasn't asked.
Oh, that's a tricky one.
Yeah.
And it just shows that we never think about it.
Well, some might.
Yeah, well, I've never thought about it.
Well, yeah, well, you're thinking about it now because you just said it's a tricky
I ain't got a clue what to think.
Yeah, but ask that, who am I? Am I a reliable person? Am I a trustworthy person? Am I an honest person? Am I truly loving myself? And trustworthy and honest and all of that is for yourself. It's to be for yourself. Do I trust myself? Am I my best friend and do I have my own back? Or do I give myself up to others? In many, many ways. Even eating junk food is giving yourself
it's that
up
honest
to someone
reflection
else.
for yourself, isn't it? I'd like to say, yeah, I do now. Yeah, I do. But then I think, no, because I still wouldn't do the harmful behaviours to myself.
Exactly. Because then you'll find out how much you gave up. Like, people come with addictions. Majority of people have got addictions. If there's something that you're like, when you read, I can't give bread up. Oh, I love bread. I can't give bread up. Why are you addicted to it?
Yeah.
And it's that where you have these cravings and all of these kind of things because they're in the food. And so, do you truly love yourself? When we're offering something to somebody, are we being really genuine when you ask yourself the question of, do I love myself? Or am I just showing my insecurities, because everybody's a billboard for themselves, of showing my insecurities to shout out to the world, look what I've got, I'm feeling, am I good enough yet?
Yeah.
Because that's what people are doing. They're a billboard for themselves, wanting attention off of other people. But if you give that attention to yourself, you don't so much want it from the external world because it's just a mirror to you.
Yeah, because you've already got it.
You've got everything you're looking for out there come from inside. When somebody made a DFS sofa, it came from inside. It came from the brain inside of them. There's nothing coming from the sky. People are praying, there's nothing coming. I don't see a sofa. Because then you'd see many of them coming down, wouldn't you? Oh, look, that thing is back there coming. He must have ordered it. Must have ordered it from up there. There's nothing up there. It's from in here. We're on a ball in the middle of space. Everything's coming from your brain. Everything in the room, you know, like I said, everything in the room had to come from a brain first, a consciousness that brought it here.
And how much of that do we not use and just, like you say, just rely on what somebody else tells
Somebody
us?
else told us when we got here. Because when you go anywhere, if you go for a new job, they're going to tell you, this is how we work here. This is what we do here. We do it. Oh, you don't do it the same way as they did it over there. But it's like, oh, that, and then you adjust yourself to it, don't you? That's what happened when you arrived. Well, this is the real world. No, it ain't. They're a bit weird there. Why? Because it's different to the way you do it. So how can it be real? It's not. It's what we made up. Our imagination made this chair into a chair and made it up. It's not a chair. This was born a tree. We take it so far away from its realness. In fact, you know, my belief is that true nature, yeah, and what should be called human as we're called human, my belief is that wildlife should be called human because it's the only thing that doesn't destroy. It works in harmony with nature. It's there in harmony doing what it should be doing. It doesn't come here to destroy. It doesn't have an NHS. It doesn't queue up for toilet roll when there's something going on. It's all muscular. It doesn't age. Do you see what I mean? It doesn't do any of those things that I've ever seen. And we are the savages. We are the wild animals. Because, you know, we're not in harmony. A lot of us aren't in harmony. We have this awful voice going on. Do you see what I mean? Awful things are being done. We accept doing awful things to each other. And our love is fickle because it's under a condition, unless it's for your children, and even they're under a condition. Not that you would stop loving them, but you will judge them. So you've got to question yourself, who am I? And what have I come here to do? And why am I still looking in an old mirror and expecting to see something different come back?
A lot to think about, thank you.
Yes. Shall we end there?